My best friend said, "You're too sensitive about everything," until her boyfriend did the same thing to her and she came crying to me. Brooke had been telling me this for months. When I got upset that my cousin Talia borrowed my car without asking and returned it with an empty tank, Brooke rolled her eyes. "It's just gas money. Why do you always make everything a big deal?" When I confronted my roommate Whitney for eating my labeled leftovers for the third time, Brooke sighed. "You're being dramatic. It's just food." The pattern was exhausting. Every boundary I tried to set, every frustration I voiced, Brooke dismissed as me being too sensitive, too emotional, too much. Meanwhile, her boyfriend Damien could do no wrong. When he showed up 2 hours late to her birthday dinner without calling, she made excuses. When he forgot their anniversary entirely, she laughed it off. "He's just not great with dates," she'd say. I bit my tongue, pointed out gently that maybe he should try harder. "You're projecting your trust issues onto my relationship," Brooke snapped. "Not everyone is as high maintenance as you." That stung, but I let it go because she was my best friend since freshman year. We'd survived bad roommates, worse boyfriends, and everything in between together. Then last Tuesday, Brooke called me at 11 p.m., sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. "Can you come over, please? I need you." I drove to her apartment in my pajamas, found her on the couch, mascara running down her face, surrounded by wadded tissues. "What happened?" I asked, sitting beside her. "Damien," she choked out. I told him I needed him to be more present, that I felt like he didn't prioritize me, and he said, she dissolved into fresh sobs. He said I was too sensitive about everything, that I make everything a bigger deal than it needs to be. The irony wasn't lost on me. I held her while she cried, stroking her back. Part of me wanted to say I told you so, but I didn't, because that's not what friends do. "I'm sorry," I said instead. "That must have really hurt." "It did," she whispered. "And the worst part? He said if I can't handle basic relationship stuff without getting emotional, maybe I'm not mature enough for this." I felt anger rising in my chest, not just at Damien, but at the months of dismissing my feelings while defending him. "That's manipulative," I said carefully. "Is it?" Brooke looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. Or am I actually being too sensitive? This was my moment. I could unload everything I'd been holding back, tell her how it felt to have my boundaries dismissed while she excused Damien's behavior, but something stopped me. "You're not too sensitive," I said firmly. "You're having a normal reaction to being dismissed." Brooke nodded, wiping her eyes. "I think I need to break up with him." "I'll support whatever you decide," I told her. She squeezed my hand. "Thank you for being here. I know I haven't always," she trailed off. "I haven't been the best friend lately. We'll talk about that," I said. "But not tonight." She fell asleep on my shoulder around 1 a.m. I stayed awake, thinking about all the times she'd invalidated my feelings, about whether I should forgive her so easily, about what would happen when she woke up and had to face the reality of her relationship. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I opened it and my blood ran cold. The message contained a photo of Damien and Talia at a restaurant, holding hands across the table. The timestamp showed it was taken 3 hours ago, right when Brooke had called me crying. My stomach dropped as I realized what this meant. Why Damien had suddenly started calling Brooke too sensitive. Why Talia had been acting strange lately, avoiding my calls. I looked down at Brooke sleeping peacefully, unaware that everything was about to get so much worse. I couldn't fit what happens next in this short video. Watch the rest down below. I stared at that photo for maybe 10 minutes. Just stared. The restaurant was Antonio's, the expensive Italian place downtown where Damien had taken Brooke for their 6-month anniversary. Talia was wearing the necklace I'd given her last Christmas, the one she'd claimed to have lost. My hands shook as I zoomed in on the image. Their fingers were intertwined. Damien's thumb traced circles on her palm the same way he used to do with Brooke during movies. The intimacy was unmistakable. Another text came through. "Thought you should know. They've been together for 2 months. A friend. 2 months. I did the math. That meant it started right after Talia borrowed my car, the day she'd been so flustered when she returned it, making weird excuses about where she'd been. I'd assumed she was embarrassed about the empty tank. Brooke stirred against my shoulder. I quickly locked my phone screen. My mind raced through possibilities. Should I wake her now? Show her the photo while she was already devastated? Or wait until morning when she might be stronger? The decision was made for me when my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a text. It was a call from Talia. I carefully extracted myself from under Brooke, leaving her sleeping on the couch, and stepped into the kitchen to answer. "Hey," Talia said, her voice artificially bright. "You up?" "It's 1:30 in the morning," I said flatly. "What do you want?" Silence. Then, "I just wanted to talk. We haven't talked in forever. I wonder why that is." More silence. I heard background noise. A car door shutting. Damien's voice saying something I couldn't make out. "Are you with him right now?" I asked. "With who?" But her voice cracked. "Don't insult me, Talia. I know. I have photos." I heard her sharp intake of breath. "It's not what you think." "Really?" "Because it looks exactly like what I think. It looks like you're sleeping with my best friend's boyfriend." "Ex-boyfriend," she corrected. "They broke up tonight." "They didn't break up. He manipulated her into thinking she was the problem so he could be with you guilt-free." "That's not—" "Look, you don't understand. What Damien and I have, it's different. It's real." I laughed. Actually laughed. "That's what every affair partner thinks. Did he tell you that you're not like other girls? That Brooke doesn't understand him?" "He didn't have to tell me. I could see it. She was always nagging him, always demanding more attention. I'm not like that. You're 23 years old, Talia. He's 31, and 2 months ago, he was supposedly in love with Brooke. Do you really think you're special? Age doesn't matter when it's real love." "Jesus Christ." I pressed my palm against my forehead. "Does your mom know?" "Don't tell her," Talia said quickly. "Please. She wouldn't understand." "No. She probably wouldn't understand why her daughter became a homewrecker." "That's not fair. Brooke and Damien's relationship was already over. He told me they've been unhappy for months." "Is that what he told you?" I was pacing now, trying to keep my voice down, because 2 weeks ago, Brooke was planning a surprise for their anniversary. She bought tickets to that comedy show he wanted to see. She was happy, Talia. She was in love with him. People can pretend. You're right. Damien's been pretending to be a decent human being this whole time. Talia's voice hardened. Why do you even care? You never liked him anyway. You were always trying to turn Brooke against him. I tried to point out that he treats her like garbage. Turns out I was right. Whatever. I didn't call to fight with you. Then why did you call? Another pause. I wanted you to hear it from me, before someone else told you. How considerate. Except I found out from a stranger who had the decency to send me proof. Who sent you photos? Her voice rose. Was it Kendall? That bitch has been trying to cause problems since... It doesn't matter who sent them. What matters is that they're real. I heard Damien in the background again. Is that her? Give me the phone. No, it's fine. I can handle... But there was rustling, and then Damien's voice filled my ear. Listen, what Talia and I have is none of your business. You made it my business when you lied to my best friend. I didn't lie. Brooke and I grew apart. These things happen. You're sleeping with her cousin behind her back, while telling her she's too sensitive for having normal emotional reactions. That's between me and Brooke. Except you involved Talia, my family. Talia's an adult. She can make her own choices. She's a kid who doesn't know any better. And you're a manipulative asshole who's using her the same way you used Brooke. Fuck you, he said calmly. You're just jealous because nobody wants you. You sit around judging everyone else's relationships while you can't maintain one yourself. The words hit harder than they should have, because there was a grain of truth there. I'd been single for 2 years. Every relationship I tried to build fell apart because I saw red flags everywhere. At least I'm not a cheater, I said. I didn't cheat. Brooke and I are done. You started this 2 months ago. Nothing physical happened until tonight. You're a liar. Believe what you want. He hung up. I stood in Brooke's kitchen, phone still pressed to my ear, listening to the dial tone. My whole body was shaking. I wanted to throw something, break something. Instead, I opened my messages and looked at the photo again. The unknown number had sent 2 more images while I was on the phone. One showed Damien and Talia kissing in a parking lot. The other was a screenshot of text messages between them, dated 6 weeks ago. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Brooke's working late again. We'll have the whole afternoon, followed by suggestive emojis. 6 weeks. Not 2 months like Talia claimed. 6 weeks of sneaking around. 6 weeks of lies. I forwarded all the photos to my own email. Then I screenshot the conversation with the unknown number. Evidence. Just in case. When I returned to the living room, Brooke was sitting up, rubbing her eyes. Hey, what time is it? Almost 2 a.m. now. God, I fell asleep on you. I'm sorry. She noticed my expression. What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. This was it. The moment I'd have to tell her. I sat down beside her, phone in hand. Brooke, something happened, and I need you to prepare yourself. Her face went pale. Is someone hurt? Is it my mom? No, nothing like that. I took a breath. I got some photos. Of Damien. Photos? What kind of photos? I handed her my phone, watched her face as she processed what she was seeing. The color drained from her cheeks. Her hands started trembling. When was this taken? She whispered. Tonight. About 3 hours ago. She zoomed in on Talia's face. Is that? Yeah, it's Talia. Brooke scrolled to the next photo. The kissing one. Her breath came in short gasps. How long? At least 6 weeks. Maybe longer. She scrolled to the text messages. Read them, then read them again. When she looked up at me, her eyes were dry. Empty. Your cousin, she said flatly. I'm so sorry. Your cousin Talia. The one who borrowed your car. Yes. The one I defended. When you were upset about the gas money, I told you that you were being dramatic. I didn't say anything. Brooke stood up abruptly. I'm going to be sick. She made it to the bathroom just in time. I heard her retching. I filled a glass with water and waited outside the door. When she emerged 10 minutes later, her face was splotchy and red. She took the water, drank it all, then sat on the bathroom floor. I defended him to you, she said. Every single time you tried to tell me something was wrong, I defended him. You didn't know. I should have known. All those times he was late. All those excuses. And I believed him because the alternative was too painful. I slid down to sit beside her on the cold tile floor. I called you too sensitive, she continued. When you got upset about Talia taking your car. And the whole time she was probably going to meet him. Probably. God. Brooke let her head fall back against the wall. I'm such an idiot. You're not an idiot. You trusted someone you loved. I didn't just trust him. I chose him over you. Over our friendship. How many times did I dismiss your feelings because they conflicted with what I wanted to believe about Damien? I'd been keeping count. 17 times in the past 6 months. But I didn't say that. You were in love, I said instead. That's not an excuse. She looked at me. You deserved better. From both of us. Talia's not your responsibility. No, but I made it worse. I took his side when you were trying to set boundaries with her. I made you feel like you were the problem. We sat there in silence for a while. The bathroom light hummed overhead. Outside a car alarm went off, then stopped. I want to confront them, Brooke said finally. Tonight? No. I want to plan it. I want to make sure I say everything I need to say. And I want you there. Are you sure? You're the only person I trust right now. She grabbed my hand. Will you help me? I squeezed back. Of course. We spent the next hour strategizing. Brooke wanted to gather more evidence first. See how deep the lies went. I suggested checking Damien's location history on the app they shared, his credit card statements if she still had access, his social media activity. He's been tagging himself at the gym a lot lately, Brooke said, pulling up his Instagram. Wednesday nights, specifically. I checked the photos I'd received. The restaurant photo is from a Wednesday. So he's been lying about the gym. She scrolled back through weeks of posts. Every Wednesday for the past 2 months. That's when it started. Brooke's jaw clenched. And I never questioned it. He said he was trying to get in shape and I thought it was sweet. She went to their shared location app next. Damien's phone showed he was currently at his apartment, but when she checked the history, Wednesday nights showed him at various locations. Restaurants, a movie theater, even a hotel. A hotel, Brooke breathed. They went to a hotel. I'm sorry, she shook her head. Don't apologize. You didn't do this. She pulled up his credit card next. They'd shared an account for date nights, a joint card they both could use. The statement loaded. There were charges she didn't recognize. Flowers from a boutique she'd never heard of. Dinner at places they'd never gone together. A jewelry purchase for $340. He bought her jewelry, Brooke said, her voice dead, with our card. I looked at the date. 2 weeks ago. I helped pay for that, Brooke continued. I put money into that account, and he used it to buy gifts for her. The evidence kept piling up. Late-night Uber rides, hotel charges, restaurant bills for 2 on nights when Damien had claimed to be working late or at the gym. By 4 a.m., we had a comprehensive timeline. The affair had started 8 weeks ago, not 6 like Talia claimed. It began 3 days after Talia had attended Brooke's birthday party, the same party where Damien had shown up 2 hours late. He was with her that night, Brooke realized. At my own birthday. He kept me waiting while he was with her. I wanted to say something comforting, but what could I say? Every new detail made it worse. Brooke screenshot everything, sent copies to her email and mine. Then she deleted the evidence from her phone. I don't want to see it again until I'm ready, she said. What's the plan? I need to talk to my mom first. Get her perspective, then I'm going to confront them. Both of them. Together. When? This weekend. There's a family dinner at your aunt's house. Talia will be there. I'd forgotten about that. My Aunt Gloria hosted monthly dinners for the family. It was tradition, and skipping without a good excuse was considered rude. You want to do it there? In front of everyone? Why not? They humiliated me in private. I'm returning the favor in public. There was something cold in her voice. Something I'd never heard before. The heartbroken girl from earlier was gone. In her place was someone calculating. Someone angry. Okay, I said. I'll be there. We spent the rest of the night at her apartment. Brooke didn't want to be alone, and I didn't want to leave her. We dozed off around 5:20 a.m., her in her bed, me on the floor beside her. My phone woke me 3 hours later. Text from my mom. Don't forget dinner Sunday, 6:00 p.m. Aunt Gloria is making her famous lasagna. Perfect timing. I showed Brooke the message. She smiled grimly. Tell her we'll both be there. The next 2 days passed in a strange fog. Brooke went to work, functioned normally, even responded to Damien's texts with short, neutral replies. She didn't let on that anything was wrong. I want him comfortable, she explained, unsuspecting. Meanwhile, I dealt with Talia. She'd been texting me nonstop. Can we talk? Please don't be mad. I really care about him. I ignored all of it. On Saturday, she called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again and again. On the 4th attempt, I answered. What? Why won't you talk to me? She sounded genuinely hurt, as if she were the victim here. What exactly did you expect, Talia? That I'd congratulate you? I expected you to at least hear me out. I've heard enough. You're sleeping with your cousin's boyfriend. There's nothing else to understand. Ex-boyfriend. They broke up. Because of you. Because they weren't right for each other. I'm not the villain here. You're exactly the villain. You knew what you were doing. You went to her birthday party and smiled in her face while planning to steal her boyfriend. I didn't steal anyone. Damien made his own choice. He chose to cheat. It's not cheating if... Save it. I don't want to hear your justifications. Silence. Then, are you going to tell people? Why? You afraid of what they'll think? I'm afraid of you ruining this for me. For us. Damien and I are happy. Good for you. I hope it's worth it. It is. And eventually, everyone will understand. Even Brooke. I hung up. Blocked her number. Then I screenshot the call log and sent it to Brooke. She replied immediately. She's delusional. Completely. Tomorrow night is going to be therapeutic. I wasn't sure therapeutic was the right word, but I understood the sentiment. Sunday arrived. I picked Brooke up at 5:30. She'd dressed carefully. Nice jeans, a fitted black sweater, subtle makeup. She looked put together, calm. Only the white knuckles gripping her purse betrayed her nerves. You ready? I asked. I've been ready for days. We drove to Aunt Gloria's in silence. The house was already full when we arrived. My mom was in the kitchen helping with dinner. My dad and uncle were watching football in the living room. Cousins and siblings filled the spaces in between. And there, sitting on the couch like she belonged, was Talia. She saw us walk in. Her face went pale. She stood up quickly, nearly knocking over her drink. Hey, she said weakly. Brooke smiled. Actually smiled. Hi, Talia. Long time no see. Yeah, I've been busy. I bet. Brooke's smile didn't waver. We need to talk. Later. After dinner. Talia glanced toward the door, like she was considering bolting. I don't think that's a good idea. I insist. My Aunt Gloria swept in from the kitchen. Girls, so good to see you both. Brooke, honey, I didn't know you were coming. Last-minute decision, Brooke said warmly. I hope it's okay. Of course. You're always welcome. Now come, help me set the table. We followed her into the dining room. Talia stayed frozen on the couch, looking like she might throw up. Dinner was painful. 45 minutes of forced conversation while Brooke and I waited. Talia barely touched her food. She kept checking her phone under the table. Expecting a call? My mom asked. Just some friends, Talia mumbled. On a Sunday night? Must be important. It's nothing. Brooke caught my eye across the table. Her expression was serene. She was enjoying this, watching Talia squirm. After dessert, as people started clearing plates, Brooke stood. Actually, before everyone disperses, I have something I'd like to share. The room went quiet. All eyes turned to her. These past few weeks have been really illuminating, Brooke continued. I've learned a lot about who my real friends are and who I can trust. Talia's face had gone from pale to green. I've also learned some interesting things about my relationship. My ex-relationship, I should say. Brooke, Talia started. Maybe we should... No, I think everyone should hear this. Brooke pulled out her phone. See, I found out my boyfriend of 18 months has been cheating on me for 8 weeks. Gasps around the table. My mom's hand flew to her mouth. And the really special part? He's been cheating with someone in this room. All heads swiveled, looking around, searching for the culprit. Brooke's eyes locked on Talia. Want to tell them, or should I? Talia stood so abruptly her chair fell backward. This is not the time or place. Really? Because you had no problem conducting your affair at my birthday party, in my apartment while I was at work, at restaurants where my friends might see you, so I'd say a family dinner is perfectly appropriate. You don't understand, Talia said desperately. It's not what you think. I have photos, Brooke said calmly, and text messages, and credit card statements. Would you like me to share them? My uncle stood up. What's going on here? Your daughter has been sleeping with Brooke's boyfriend, I said flatly. For 2 months. The room exploded. Everyone talking at once. My Aunt Gloria clutching her pearls. My mom demanding to know if it was true. My dad looking confused. Talia burst into tears. He told me they were broken up. He said it was over. We had dinner plans last week, Brooke said. We were discussing moving in together. Does that sound broken up to you? He lied to me. He lied to both of us. But you knew what you were doing. You came to my home, met my friends, smiled to my face, all while screwing my boyfriend behind my back. I'm sorry. Talia was sobbing now. I'm sorry, okay? I made a mistake. You made a choice. Multiple choices. Every time you answered his call. Every time you met him somewhere. Every time you lied to cover it up. My Aunt Gloria had found her voice. Talia Marie, is this true? Talia just cried harder. I asked you a question. Yes. Okay, yes. But he said he loved me. He said we were going to be together. He's 8 years older than you, my uncle said. And he was in a relationship. Age doesn't matter when it's real love, Talia protested. I nearly laughed. She'd used the exact same line on me. Real love doesn't involve lying and sneaking around, my mom said sharply. Real love doesn't destroy other relationships. You don't understand, Talia wailed. None of you understand. Then explain it to us, Brooke said. Her voice was still calm, still controlled. Explain how you justified betraying your own family. She's not my family, Talia exploded. She's just someone who's been around forever. Someone who acts like she's better than everyone else. The room went silent. Wow, Brooke said softly. Tell me how you really feel. You want the truth? Fine. I'm sick of you. Sick of everyone acting like you're so perfect, like your relationship was so great. It wasn't. Damien was miserable with you. Is that what he told you? Yes. And it's true. You're clingy and needy and you smother people. I'm nothing like you. That's why he chose me. Brooke pulled out her phone again, pulled up a text message. This is from Damien, sent 3 days ago. Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. I love you. She looked up. He sent that to me while he was sleeping with you. Talia's face crumpled. He's playing both of us. Brooke continued, telling me I'm the best while telling you I'm the worst. He's a liar, a cheater, and a manipulator. And you fell for it. He loves me, Talia insisted weakly. He doesn't love anyone but himself. Brooke pocketed her phone. But hey, maybe you're special. Maybe you're the one woman who can change him. Good luck with that. She turned to leave. I followed. Behind us, chaos erupted again. My aunt screaming at Talia. My uncle demanding answers. My mom trying to mediate. We made it to the car before Brooke broke down. She didn't cry. She just shook, her whole body trembling with suppressed rage and hurt. You did good, I said. I feel like I'm going to throw up. That's normal. Everyone saw me humiliated. Everyone saw you stand up for yourself. There's a difference. She leaned her head against the window. What now? Now you heal, and I'll be here for all of it. My phone started ringing. My mom. I ignored it. It rang again. My aunt. Ignored. Then my uncle. Then Talia. They're going to want explanations, Brooke said. They can wait. We drove to my apartment, ordered pizza, watched terrible reality TV. Around midnight, Brooke's phone lit up. A text from Damien. What the fuck did you do? Talia's hysterical. Her family is going insane. Did you seriously air our private business in public? Brooke showed me. I read it. Felt anger surge through me. Want me to respond? I asked. What would you say? I took her phone, typed, private business? You mean the affair you conducted with her cousin? That private business? Or the lies you told both of us? Be specific. Sent. He responded immediately. You had no right. Brooke grabbed the phone, typed, I had every right. You betrayed me, with my family, in my home, using money from our joint account. So yes, I told people, and I have zero regrets. You're going to regret this. Is that a threat? It's a fact. You just made yourself look unstable. I made you look like the cheater you are. If you don't like it, maybe don't cheat next time. I'm done with you. You and your drama. Thank God Talia showed me what I was missing. Enjoy her. She's all yours. Brooke blocked him. Then she looked at me. That felt good. It looked good from here. She smiled. Actually smiled. I think I'm going to be okay. I know you are. We fell asleep on my couch. When I woke up the next morning, Brooke was already up, making coffee in my kitchen. I'm going back to his place today, she announced. Getting my stuff. Want backup? Absolutely. We showed up at Damien's apartment at 10 a.m. His car was in the lot. So was another vehicle I recognized. Talia's. She's here, Brooke said flatly. Want to leave? No. I want my things. We went up. Brooke used her key. The apartment was quiet. Then we heard it. Giggling from the bedroom. Female laughter. Brooke walked straight to the bedroom door. Opened it without knocking. Damien and Talia were in bed, scrambling to cover themselves. Damien's face went from shocked to angry in seconds. What the hell? You can't just barge in here? It's still my apartment, Brooke said calmly. My name is on the lease. Remember? I want you out. Now. I'm getting my things. Then I'm calling the landlord to have my name removed from the lease, which means you'll need to qualify for this place on your own. Good luck with that on a bartender's salary. Damien's face went red. You vindictive bitch. I'm not vindictive. I'm practical. Why would I pay rent somewhere I don't live? Talia had pulled the sheet up to her chin. She looked mortified. Brooke, I'm sorry. I never meant. Save it. Brooke turned to me. Help me pack? We spent the next hour gathering Brooke's belongings. Clothes, books, toiletries, photos she'd framed, kitchen items she'd bought. We worked methodically while Damien and Talia stayed in the bedroom, arguing in hushed voices. As we loaded the last box into my car, Damien appeared. I hope you're happy. I'm getting there, Brooke said. You ruined everything. Talia's family won't talk to her. Her mom is threatening to cut her off, all because you couldn't handle a breakup like an adult. I handled it exactly as it deserved. We're in love. Can't you just be happy for us? Brooke laughed. Be happy that you cheated on me? Be happy that she betrayed her family? No, Damien. I can't be happy about that. You're just bitter. I'm just honest. There's a difference. He grabbed her arm, not hard enough to hurt, but firm enough to stop her. If you think you're better off without me, I stepped between them. Let her go. Mind your own business. She is my business. Now let go. He released Brooke, but his eyes stayed on me. You did this. You turned her against me. I didn't have to. You did that yourself. You poisoned her mind from day one, convinced her I wasn't good enough. You proved that on your own. His jaw clenched. For a second, I thought he might actually hit me, but Talia appeared in the doorway. Damien, let it go. They're leaving. He turned away, walked back inside, slammed the door. Talia stayed on the steps. Brooke, wait. Brooke paused, car door open. I really am sorry, Talia said. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I need you to know. You're sorry you got caught. Brooke replied. Not sorry you did it. That's not true. If you were really sorry, you wouldn't be here right now, in his bed, continuing the relationship that destroyed ours. Talia opened her mouth, closed it. She had no defense. Tell yourself whatever you need to sleep at night, Brooke said. But don't pretend this is something it's not. You made your choice. Now live with it. We drove away. In my rearview mirror, I saw Talia standing on the steps watching us go. You okay? I asked. Yeah, I am. Brooke stared out the window. That's the weird part. I thought I'd be devastated, but I just feel free. That's good. He tried to make me feel crazy, like I was overreacting to everything, but I wasn't. My instincts were right. They usually are. We drove in silence for a while. Then Brooke said, I owe you an apology. You already apologized. No, I need to say this properly. She turned to face me. I dismissed your feelings for months, made you question yourself, took his side over yours, and I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. Thank you. You tried to warn me. You saw what he was before I did, and instead of listening, I pushed you away. You were in love. It's hard to see clearly when you're in love. That's still not an excuse. You deserved better from me. You're here now. That's what matters. She squeezed my hand. I'm going to be a better friend. I promise. Over the next few weeks, Brooke proved it. When I got frustrated with Whitney eating my food again, Brooke backed me up, helped me have a serious conversation about boundaries. When my boss made a passive-aggressive comment about my work, Brooke validated my feelings instead of telling me I was overreacting. And slowly, our friendship started to heal. Meanwhile, the fallout from Sunday dinner continued. Talia's parents had grounded her. At 23, they'd threatened to stop paying her car insurance and phone bill unless she ended things with Damien. She refused. Instead, she moved in with him, posted about it on Instagram. Sometimes the people who judge you the most are the ones who don't understand real love. Building a life with my person. The comments were brutal. Didn't you steal him from your cousin? How romantic. Nothing says true love like cheating. Girl, you're 23. This won't end well. I screenshotted some of them, sent them to Brooke. She laughed. Let her find out the hard way. Think he'll cheat on her too? Absolutely. Give it 6 months. She was wrong. It took 3. I got the call from a mutual friend, Kendall, who'd been the one to send me the original photos. You're not going to believe this. Try me. Damien's been messaging girls on dating apps while living with Talia. You're kidding. I have screenshots. Want me to send them? Obviously. The photos showed Damien's profile on 3 different apps. Single and ready to mingle. Just moved to town and looking to meet new people. Casual drinks? Let's see where it goes. His profile photos were recent, taken in the apartment he shared with Talia. Has anyone told her? I asked. I don't know. I figured you'd want to know first. I thanked her, hung up, stared at my phone. Part of me wanted to tell Talia, warn her. But another part remembered how she'd dismissed my concerns, how she'd claimed their love was different, special. I called Brooke, sent her the screenshots. Wow, she said. That was fast. What do you think? I think she made her bed. Should we tell her? Long pause. Forward everything to me. I'll handle it. 2 hours later, Brooke texted. Done. What did you do? Sent the screenshots to Talia, along with a message. He's doing to you exactly what he did to me. But hey, maybe you're special. I laughed despite myself. Talia didn't respond to Brooke, but she must have confronted Damien because by that evening, her Instagram had been scrubbed of all couple photos. The bio no longer mentioned being in a relationship. The next morning, she posted a long caption. Sometimes we invest in people who don't deserve us. Sometimes we ignore red flags because we want to believe in love. I'm learning that actions matter more than words, and that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel alone. No mention of Damien, no apology to Brooke, just vague wisdom that made her sound like the victim. Comments poured in. You deserve better, queen. His loss. Men ain't shit. She's actually getting sympathy, I told Brooke. Of course she is. People love a redemption arc. Doesn't it bother you? Not really. I know the truth. That's enough. But it bothered me. The way Talia had rewritten the narrative, made herself the wounded party, erased her role in the betrayal. 2 weeks later, Talia posted a photo at a coffee shop. New beginnings. Taking time to find myself. She looked thinner, tired, but still trying to project confidence. I showed Brooke. She's playing the heartbreak card. Let her. The people who matter know what really happened. It's just frustrating. Of course it is. But what can we do? Force her to take accountability? People believe what they want to believe. She was right. Still, it rankled. Then something unexpected happened. I got a message request on Instagram from Damien. We need to talk. I stared at it. Considered blocking him, but curiosity won. About what? About the lies people are spreading about me. What lies? Talia's telling everyone I was manipulating her, using her. None of it's true. Interesting, because those screenshots of you on dating apps looked pretty real. Those were old profiles. I forgot to delete them. They had recent photos. Photoshopped. People are trying to make me look bad. You made yourself look bad when you cheated. I didn't cheat. Brooke and I were basically over. That's not what your text messages showed. Silence. Then, look. I'm not proud of how things went down, but I'm not the villain everyone's making me out to be. Then what are you? Someone who fell in love at the wrong time. Someone who made mistakes but had good intentions. I almost laughed. Good intentions? You gaslighted Brooke for weeks. Told her she was too sensitive when she had legitimate concerns. Also, you could justify your affair. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. I have the receipts. Everyone's so quick to judge. No one wants to understand that relationships are complicated. They're not that complicated. You don't cheat. It's pretty simple. Whatever. I didn't message you to argue. I messaged to ask you to talk to Brooke. Tell her to stop turning people against me. Brooke hasn't said anything to anyone except the truth. She's making me look like a monster. Again, you did that yourself. I loved her. I really did. Things just got complicated. Because you made them complicated. He stopped responding. I blocked him. Told Brooke about the conversation. She rolled her eyes. He's rewriting history in his own mind. Soon he'll actually believe he's the victim. How are you so calm about all this? Because I'm done caring. He's not worth my energy anymore. And she meant it. Over the following months, Brooke threw herself into her own life. She got a promotion at work, started going to therapy to work through the betrayal, joined a book club, and made new friends. I'm better off, she told me one night over wine. Genuinely better off. I thought he was my future. But he was just a lesson. What did you learn? That I ignored my own instincts because I wanted to believe in something. That I prioritized his comfort over my own boundaries. And that I dismissed people who actually cared about me, like you, because it was easier than facing the truth. You didn't know. I did know. I just didn't want to admit it. She looked at me. You told me he was dismissive, that he didn't value my time. You pointed out every red flag, and I called you jealous. I forgave you for that. I know, but I need to forgive myself for it too. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the sunset from my balcony. Thank you, Brooke said quietly. For what? For not saying, I told you so. For being there even after I treated you like crap. For showing me what real friendship looks like. That's what friends do. Not all of them. She paused. Talia and I used to be close, when we were kids, and she threw that away for a guy who didn't even respect her. Some people have to learn the hard way. I guess I did too. Just took me less time to figure it out. Months passed. Life moved on. Brooke started dating again, carefully, with clear boundaries. I worked on my own issues, the ones Damien had hit on. My tendency to see red flags everywhere. My fear of vulnerability. We were stronger for it, both of us. Then, almost exactly 6 months after the dinner confrontation, my Aunt Gloria called. I need to tell you something, she said, about Talia. My stomach dropped. Is she okay? Physically, yes. But, she sighed. She's been calling me every night, crying. She wants to come home. What happened? That boy. Damien. He's been horrible to her, controlling, manipulative. She said he isolates her from friends, gets angry when she doesn't text back immediately, monitors her phone. I closed my eyes. Of course he did. She wants to leave him, my aunt continued, but she's scared, and she's embarrassed. After everything that happened, after defending him to all of us, she doesn't know how to admit she was wrong. What do you want from me? I want you to talk to her. You and Brooke, you both got out of bad situations. Maybe you can help her find the courage. I didn't want to. Part of me felt like Talia deserved to figure this out on her own. She'd made her choice. Now she had to live with the consequences. But another part remembered being 23, making mistakes, needing grace. Let me talk to Brooke, I said. See what she thinks? My aunt thanked me profusely, promised to have Talia call. I hung up and immediately called Brooke. Explained the situation. Let me get this straight, Brooke said slowly. Talia, who stole my boyfriend, who betrayed her family, who made me feel crazy for having boundaries, she now wants our help because that same boyfriend is treating her exactly how we said he would? Yes. And your aunt thinks we should help her? She's hoping we will. Long silence. What do you want to do? I don't know. Part of me wants to tell her she made her bed, but part of me feels bad. She's still family, and she's in a potentially dangerous situation. She is, Brooke agreed. But she's also an adult who made informed choices. We told her what he was like. She called us jealous and bitter. I know. More silent. Then Brooke sighed. Okay, I'll talk to her. Really? Not because I forgive her. Not because I think she deserves it. But because nobody deserves to be in an abusive relationship. And if we can help her get out, we should. You're a better person than me. I'm really not. I just know what it's like to be manipulated by him, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. We set up a meeting. Neutral territory. A coffee shop neither of us frequented. Talia arrived 20 minutes early looking nervous. She'd changed. Lost weight she couldn't afford to lose. Dark circles under her eyes. Her usual confidence gone. Thank you for meeting me, she said quietly when we arrived. Brooke sat across from her. I took the seat beside Brooke. United front. Your mom said you wanted to talk, I said. Talia nodded. Stared at her untouched coffee. I know you hate me. We don't hate you, Brooke said. We're disappointed. There's a difference. I'm sorry for everything. I know it doesn't mean much now, but I need you to know. What changed? I asked. Everything. Talia's voice cracked. He's not who I thought he was. He's not who he pretended to be. He's exactly who we told you he was, Brooke said. Not unkindly, but firmly. I know, okay? I was stupid. and young, and I wanted to believe I was special. You are special, I said. Just not to him. Talia started crying. Not the dramatic sobbing from the dinner. Real, painful tears. He checks my phone every night, reads all my messages, got angry when I went to lunch with a friend from work because I didn't ask permission first. Brooke and I exchanged glances. He tells me I'm lucky he stayed with me after everyone found out, that no one else would want me now. She wiped her eyes. And maybe he's right. He's not, Brooke said firmly. That's what manipulators do. They break you down so you think you need them. I'm so ashamed, Talia whispered. Everyone was right. My parents, my friends, you, and I defended him anyway. Why are you still with him? I asked. I'm scared. Every time I try to leave, he either gets angry or cries. Says he'll change. Promises it'll be different. And I believe him because I want to believe him. That's the cycle, Brooke said. I know. I lived it too. Talia looked up, surprised. You did? He did the same things to me. Not as extreme, but the pattern was there, making me feel like my concerns were invalid, like I was the problem. I thought you were just dramatic. That's what he told me. Of course he did. That's part of the manipulation. Make the new partner think the old partner was crazy. Make you think you're different. Better. But I'm not. Fresh tears. I'm exactly the same. He treats me the same way he treated you. I just couldn't see it before. We sat there while Talia cried. Brooke pushed a napkin across the table, waited for her to compose herself. Do you want to leave him? Brooke finally asked. Talia nodded. But I don't know how. We live together. All my stuff is there, and I'm scared of what he'll do. You need a plan, I said. A safety plan. We spent the next 2 hours helping her strategize. When to leave, how to pack, where to go, who to call for help. Brooke even offered to be there, to help move her things while Damien was at work. You'd do that? Talia asked. After everything? I wouldn't do it for you, Brooke said honestly. I'd do it because no woman should have to escape an abusive relationship alone. Talia broke down again. I'm so sorry. I know I keep saying it, but I am. I destroyed your relation, hurt my family. And for what? For this? You made a mistake, I said. A big one. But everyone deserves a second chance. I don't deserve your help. Maybe not, Brooke agreed. But you're getting it anyway. We finalized the plan. The following Tuesday, while Damien was at his bartending shift, Brooke and I would help Talia pack her essentials. She'd stay with her parents temporarily, then figure out her next steps. Don't tell him you're leaving, Brooke warned. Just go. If you give him warning, he'll manipulate you into staying. What if he tries to find me? Block him everywhere. Change your number if you have to. Your parents can deal with any belongings you leave behind. Talia nodded, taking notes on her phone. When we finally left the coffee shop 3 hours later, she hugged us both. Thank you. Really, I don't deserve this, but thank you. As we walked to our cars, Brooke said, I can't believe we just did that. Having regrets? No, it's just surreal. 6 months ago, she was the villain of my story. Now she's just another person he damaged. Think she'll actually go through with it? I hope so. But who knows? She might change her mind. She didn't. Tuesday arrived and Talia texted right on schedule. He just left for work. I'm ready. We met her at the apartment. The same apartment I'd helped Brooke move out of months earlier. Same layout, same furniture, different victim. Talia had prepared, boxes stacked, bags packed. She moved efficiently, like she'd been planning this for weeks. Just the essentials, she kept saying. I don't want anything that reminds me of him. We loaded my car in under an hour. As we did a final sweep, I noticed photos on the refrigerator. Damien and Talia smiling, happy, the same way he'd looked with Brooke. Leave them, Talia said, following my gaze. Let him remember what he lost. We drove her to her parents' house. Her mom was waiting on the porch, crying with relief. Her dad stood behind her, jaw clenched. As Talia hugged her parents, her dad approached us. Thank you for helping her, for being bigger people than you needed to be. Nobody deserves what Damien does to people, Brooke said simply. Inside, Talia's room looked exactly as she'd left it months earlier. Posters from high school, trophies from soccer, a life she'd abandoned for a man who didn't value her. I'll be okay, she told us as we said goodbye. I have to be. We drove away as the sun set, orange and pink streaking across the sky. That felt good, Brooke said. Helping her? Proving I'm not who Damien said I was. He called me vindictive, bitter, too sensitive. But I just helped the woman who betrayed me escape the same situation I escaped. That's not bitter. That's growth. You're pretty incredible, you know that? She smiled. We both are. Over the next few weeks, Talia stayed quiet. No social media posts, no public statements, just silence as she healed. Then, 3 weeks after her escape, she posted something. A photo of her and her mom, hiking. The caption read, "Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same thing. Thank you to everyone who helped me find my way back, especially to those I didn't deserve help from. You know who you are." The comments were supportive. Proud of you. Growth looks good on you. Sometimes we have to lose ourselves to find ourselves. Brooke showed me. Think that's about us? Probably. Weird, right? Being thanked for helping someone who hurt us. Weird, but good. Another month passed. Brooke went on a third date with a guy named Connor who actually showed up on time and remembered her coffee order. I started therapy to work on my trust issues. We had weekly dinners, just the two of us, rebuilding what had been damaged. Then Talia called me. Not texted. Actually called. Hey, she said nervously. I know this is random, but I wanted to ask if you and Brooke wanted to get coffee sometime. Not to talk about Damien or anything. Just to, I don't know, start over? I didn't answer immediately. It's okay if you don't want to, she rushed on. I understand. I just thought maybe, let me ask Brooke, I interrupted. I'll let you know. I presented it to Brooke that evening. Her initial reaction was skeptical. Start over? Like pretend nothing happened? I think she means move forward. Not forget, but forgive. I don't know if I can do that. You don't have to. I just wanted to tell you she asked. Brooke thought about it for several days. Finally, she said, okay, one coffee, but I'm not promising anything beyond that. We met the following week. Same coffee shop as before. Talia brought a letter. I wrote everything down, she explained, because I knew I'd forget things or get too emotional. So please, just let me read this. Then we can talk. Brooke nodded. Talia unfolded the paper. Her hands shook. Dear Brooke and cousin, I'm not going to ask you to forgive me because I'm not sure I deserve forgiveness. What I did was inexcusable. I knew you were dating Damien. I knew I was betraying family. I knew I was being selfish. But I did it anyway because I wanted to believe I was special, that what we had was different from what you had with him. I was wrong. About everything. Damien told me you were controlling, that you made him feel trapped, that I was setting him free. I believed him because it made me feel less guilty about what we were doing. But the truth is, you weren't any of those things. You were just dating someone who didn't deserve you. And I was too blinded by my own ego to see that I was doing the exact same thing you'd done, falling for his lies, making excuses for his behavior, ignoring red flags because I didn't want to admit I'd made a mistake. When I moved in with him, I thought I'd won some prize. But all I won was a front row seat to the same manipulation you'd experienced. He isolated me from my friends, controlled my money, made me feel like I was lucky he stayed with me after I'd ruined his relationship with you. He turned me into someone I didn't recognize. Someone small and scared and constantly apologizing for existing. You both showed me what real friendship looks like. When I had nowhere to turn, when I'd burned every bridge, when I didn't deserve anyone's kindness, you helped me anyway. Not because you liked me, not because you'd forgiven me, but because it was the right thing to do. I'm working on becoming someone worthy of that kindness. I'm in therapy. I'm rebuilding relationships with my family. I'm learning to trust my own judgment again. I don't expect us to be friends. I don't even expect you to like me, but I wanted you to know that you saved my life, both of you. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to pay that forward. She folded the letter, looked up with tears in her eyes. Silence settled over the table. Finally, Brooke spoke. Thank you for saying all that, for owning your part in what happened. Talia nodded, wiping her eyes. I'm not ready to be friends, Brooke continued. I might never be ready for that, but I can be civil. We can be cordial at family events. We can exist in the same space without it being awful. That's more than I deserve, probably, but it's what I'm offering. I added, and if you ever need help again, real help, not Damien-related drama, you can call. I might not answer right away, but I won't ignore you. Talia's face crumpled with relief. That's all I can ask for. We finished our coffee, talked about safer things, work, family, the weather. It was awkward and uncomfortable, but it was a start. As we left, Talia hugged us both. I'm going to do better, I promise. In the car, Brooke said, that was harder than I thought it would be. You did good, though. I don't feel good. I feel confused. Like, I want to hate her. It would be easier to hate her, but I can't anymore. She's just another person he damaged. That's empathy. It's a good thing. It's exhausting. Also true. We drove in silence. Then Brooke's phone rang. Connor. She answered on speaker. Hey, are we still on for tonight? Brooke smiled. A real smile. Absolutely. Pick me up at 7? Can't wait. See you then. She hung up. Looked at me. I'm happy. Actually happy. For the first time in months, I'm excited about my life. You deserve that. So do you. When are you going to start dating again? When I'm ready. Fair enough. We pulled up to her place. She grabbed her purse but paused before getting out. Thank you, she said, for everything. For calling me out when I was dismissing your feelings, for being there when Damien showed his true colors, for helping me see that I deserved better. You would have figured it out eventually. Maybe. But it would have taken longer without you. She squeezed my hand. You're the best friend anyone could ask for. Right back at you. She went inside to get ready for her date. I drove home thinking about the past year, about betrayal and forgiveness, about boundaries and growth, about the difference between being too sensitive and standing up for yourself. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. I froze. Last time I got a text from an unknown number, it was photos of Damien and Talia. I opened it hesitantly. Hi, this is Kendall, the one who sent you those photos. Just wanted to check in. I heard Talia left Damien. Is she okay? I relaxed. Replied, she's safe, with her family. Thanks for checking. Good. He's already on the apps again, looking for his next victim. Of course he was. Thanks for the heads up. Anytime. We gotta look out for each other. I saved her number. She was right. We did need to look out for each other. 6 months later, Brooke and Connor were talking about moving in together. Talia had enrolled in community college and was studying social work, hoping to help other women escape abusive relationships. I'd gone on a few dates with someone from my gym. Nothing serious yet, but promising. At Thanksgiving, we all ended up at Aunt Gloria's again. The first family gathering since the infamous dinner. Talia arrived late, nervous, but she'd brought homemade pie, offered to help in the kitchen, kept her head down. Brooke and I were civil, polite. We'd never be close. The betrayal ran too deep for that. But we could coexist. We could be family. Over dinner, my uncle made a toast. To second chances, to family, to forgiveness. Everyone raised their glasses, including me and Brooke, including Talia. As I sipped my wine, I caught Brooke's eye across the table. She smiled. That same real smile she'd been wearing more often lately. We'd survived. Both of us. Stronger for it. Later, as people were clearing plates, Talia approached us carefully. Can I talk to you both? Just for a minute? We followed her to the back porch. The night air was cold, November winds cutting through our clothes. I wanted to tell you something, Talia began. Damien reached out last week. My stomach dropped. What did he want? To get back together. He said he made a mistake, that he missed me, that we were meant to be together. What did you say? Brooke asked. Talia smiled. Actually smiled. I told him I wasn't interested, that I'd learned my lesson, and then I blocked him. Good for you, I said. I also wanted you both to know. I told my story to a domestic violence support group, about how he manipulated me, isolated me, made me believe I was the problem. And 3 women came up to me afterward with similar stories about him. Brooke's eyes widened. 3? At least, probably more. He has a pattern. Find someone young and insecure, love bomb them, then slowly break them down. I was just another name on a long list. Did you report it? I asked. There's nothing to report legally. He never hit me, never threatened me outright, just made my life a psychological nightmare. But I did warn those women, told them to stay away from him. That took guts, Brooke said. I learned from the best. Talia looked at us. You showed me what it means to help people even when they don't deserve it, to be strong enough to do the right thing. I'm trying to pay that forward. Brooke nodded slowly. Keep doing that. Help people. Warn people. Don't let him create more victims. I won't. I promise. We stood there in the cold for another minute. Then Talia said, I should get back inside, but thank you for tonight, for not making this weird. We're not friends, Brooke said, but we're not enemies either. That's enough. That's more than enough. Talia went back inside. Brooke and I stayed on the porch. She's different, I observed. People can change when they want to, when they put in the work. Do you forgive her? Brooke thought about it. I'm working on it. Some days are easier than others, but I think eventually, yeah, I'll forgive her. Not because she deserves it, but because holding on to anger only hurts me. That's very mature of you. Therapy helps, she laughed. Also, being genuinely happy makes it easier to let go of the past. Connor's that great. Connor's amazing. But it's not just him. It's everything. My job, my friendships, my life. For the first time in years, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm happy for you. Your turn next. Maybe. We'll see. We went back inside, rejoined the party, ate pie, laughed with family, acted normal, because that's what we were now. Normal, healed, moving forward. As I drove home that night, I thought about everything that had happened. About Brooke calling me too sensitive while defending Damien, about the dramatic confrontation at dinner, about helping Talia escape, about all of us learning and growing and becoming better versions of ourselves. It wasn't the ending I'd expected a year ago, but it was the right one. My phone buzzed. Text from Brooke. Thank you for being stubborn about boundaries, for not letting me dismiss your feeling, for being right even when I didn't want to hear it. Love you. I smiled. Texted back. Love you too. Now go enjoy your night with Connor. Already am. He made dinner. Actual dinner. Like with vegetables and everything. Keeper? Absolutely. I pulled into my parking spot. Sat in the car for a minute, letting the heat run. A year ago, I'd felt crazy, gaslit, dismissed. My boundaries had been treated as character flaws, my concerns as overreactions. But I'd been right. About Damien. About the importance of standing up for yourself. About trusting your instincts even when people you love tell you you're wrong. And now everyone else could see it too. Sometimes being too sensitive is just being the first person to notice something's wrong. Sometimes making everything a big deal is actually having standards. Sometimes the problem isn't your feelings, it's the people who want you to ignore them. I learned that the hard way. So did Brooke, and so did Talia. But we learned it. That's what matters. I got out of the car, went inside, made tea, settled onto my couch with a book. My phone buzzed one more time. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me check. Hi, this is Lauren. I met Talia at the support group. She said you might be willing to talk to me about leaving my boyfriend. He does the same things her ex did. I'm scared. Can you help? I stared at the message, thought about everything I'd been through, everything I'd learned. Then I typed, of course. When can you talk? Because that's what we do. We help, we warn, we support, we refuse to let manipulators win. I spent the next hour on the phone with Lauren, gave her the same advice we'd given Talia. Make a plan, document everything. Don't tell him you're leaving. Thank you, she said when we finished. I've been trying to leave for months. Everyone said I was overreacting, that I should try harder. You're not overreacting, I said firmly. Trust your instincts. That's what Talia said you'd say. She's right. After we hung up, I texted Talia. Lauren called, I'm helping her. Thank you for giving her my number. Thank you for showing me how to pay it forward. I went to bed that night feeling purposeful, like everything I'd been through, all the pain, all the betrayal, all the fighting for my own boundaries, had led to this, to helping other women stand up for themselves. The next morning, I woke to more messages, 3 women from the support group, all asking for help, all trying to leave toxic situations. I spent my Saturday making calls, offering advice, connecting people to resources. By evening, I'd helped 4 women make plans to leave abusive partners. Brooke called as I was making dinner. I heard you spent the day helping women leave bad relationships. Talia told you? She posted about it on the support group page. Said you were a lifesaver. I'm just doing what you did for her. We should formalize this, Brooke said thoughtfully. Start something official. A network for women who've been through this. Who can help others get out? Like what? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. Want to help? Obviously. We spent the next few months building it. A website, a hotline, a network of volunteers. All women who'd escaped toxic relationships and wanted to help others do the same. Talia joined as a volunteer. So did Kendall. So did Lauren and the other women from the support group. We called it Trust Your Instincts, a resource for women who'd been told they were too sensitive, too dramatic, too much. Women who needed permission to believe their own experiences. The response was overwhelming. Within 2 months, we'd helped over 50 women make safety plans. Within 6 months, that number tripled. Local news picked up the story. Former victims help others escape abuse. We did an interview, Brooke, Talia, and I, sitting together telling our stories. I was told I was too sensitive, Brooke said. When I questioned my boyfriend's behavior, he made me feel crazy. It wasn't until my best friend showed me proof that I realized I'd been right all along. I was the other woman, Talia admitted. I thought I was special. But I was just another victim of the same manipulation. When I tried to leave, I didn't know how. These women saved my life. We all saved each other, I said. That's the point. Women have been told forever that their feelings don't matter, that they're overreacting. But our feelings are usually telling us exactly what we need to know. We just need to learn to trust them. The interview went viral. Comments poured in from women sharing similar stories. I thought I was the only one. This happened to me too. Thank you for speaking up. We expanded, created support groups in 3 cities, trained more volunteers, partnered with domestic violence shelters. A year after the infamous dinner, we held our first fundraiser. Over 200 people attended, including Talia's parents, who donated money to the cause, including Connor, who'd helped build our website, including Kendall, who'd created our social media presence. Even Whitney, my former roommate who used to eat my leftovers, showed up. I'm sorry for dismissing your boundaries, she said. I didn't understand what a big deal it was until I read your story. Thank you, I said, genuinely surprised. The fundraiser raised $30,000, enough to keep our hotline running for a year, enough to help hundreds more women. As the night wound down, Brooke, Talia, and I stood together, watching people mingle and share their stories. We did this, Brooke said softly. We turned something terrible into something meaningful. We did, Talia agreed. And I'm so grateful. For second chances, for forgiveness, for being given the opportunity to be part of something bigger than myself. I looked at them both, my best friend who'd learned to listen, my cousin who'd learned to take accountability. We'd all grown, changed, become better. You know what the best part is? I said. What? They asked in unison. Nobody can ever call us too sensitive again, because we took those feelings, those instincts they tried to dismiss, and we built something that saves lives. Brooke raised her glass to being too sensitive. Talia raised hers to trusting our instincts. I raised mine to second chances and new beginnings. We clinked glasses, drank, smiled, because we'd survived, and we'd helped others survive too. That's the story of how my best friend said I was too sensitive until her boyfriend did the same thing to her. How we both learned to trust ourselves, how we turned pain into purpose, and how sometimes being told you're too much just means you're exactly enough. My coworker called me lazy for leaving at 5 p.m., but then the CEO asked why she was still working on tasks I finished in 3 hours. It started with Veronica. She'd been at the company for 8 years and made sure everyone knew it. I was hired 6 months ago as a data analyst, and from day one, she treated me like I was stealing her oxygen. Every morning, she'd arrive at 6:30 a.m. and announce it. She'd stay until 8 p.m. sending emails timestamped 7:47 p.m. just to prove she was still grinding. Meanwhile, I came in at 9 and left at 5, on the dot. Do excellent work during work hours, then go home and actually live. But Veronica saw this as a personal insult. Must be nice, she'd say loudly whenever I packed up. Some of us actually care about our careers. The breaking point came during a team meeting. Our manager, Diane, asked who could take on the quarterly expense report analysis. I volunteered. It was due Friday. Veronica scoffed. That's a 40-hour project minimum. I finished it by Wednesday at 2 p.m. When I submitted it early, Veronica insisted I must have cut corners. Diane checked my work. It was flawless. I'd automated half the process with a script that would save the team 30 hours every quarter. Thursday morning, CEO Bryant Richmond walked through our floor. He never did that. He stopped at my desk. I heard about the expense report, he said. Then he looked at Veronica's desk, where she was buried under spreadsheets, manually color-coding cells. Why are you still doing this manually? He asked her. Her face went red. These reports take time, she stammered. Bryant turned back to me. How long did yours take? About 3 hours for the report, maybe 6 total to write the script. The color drained from Veronica's face. Bryant asked to see all our recent projects. Same quality. My tasks took a fraction of the time. He didn't say anything else, but I saw him talking quietly with Diane afterward. Friday morning, Veronica was at my desk. You're making me look bad on purpose, she hissed. That afternoon, Diane called an emergency meeting. Bryant was there too. He announced efficiency reviews for all departments. Then he looked at Veronica. We value results, not performative busy work. Hours logged don't equal productivity. Over the next month, everything changed. Veronica's manual processes were replaced with my automated ones. Her 60-hour weeks suddenly seemed pointless. She started leaving at 5:30, then 5:15, scrambling to prove she was relevant. Last Monday, Bryant promoted me to senior analyst and assigned me Veronica's highest profile projects. Then he called her into his office. She emerged carrying a box. 2 weeks' notice. On her last day, Veronica spoke to me. You ruined my life. This job was everything. I didn't gloat. Maybe the job wouldn't have been everything if you'd actually gone home sometimes. She left without another word. But here's where it gets complicated. This morning, I found an email in my spam folder from Veronica's personal account, sent at 3 a.m. subject line, you need to see this. Attached was a folder labeled Diane Financial Records. Inside were expense reports from 3 years ago, all signed off by Diane. These numbers didn't match our current system. Someone had been skimming money, a lot of money. The trail led to accounts I recognized, including one with Bryant's name on it. And the person who'd covered it all up was Veronica. I stared at the screen for 20 minutes. My coffee went cold. The automated script I'd written for expense reports had flagged anomalies in historical data during testing. I'd dismissed them as legacy system errors. Veronica hadn't. She'd known the entire time. The files showed a pattern starting in 2020. Small amounts at first. $3,200 here, $5,800 there. Buried in legitimate expenses, spread across departments. By 2022, they were siphoning $40,000 monthly. The money went through shell vendors, fake consulting fees, inflated supply costs, all approved by Diane. all funneling to accounts connected to Bryant Richmond. Veronica's email had no message, just the files and one line at the bottom. Congratulations on your promotion. You earned it. I printed everything. 300 pages. Then I deleted the email and cleared my trash. At my desk, I opened the company directory and looked up our general counsel, Patricia Wu, 23 years with the firm. I'd never spoken to her. I scheduled a meeting for 2 p.m. citing urgent compliance matter. The morning dragged. I ran my normal reports, attended stand-up, reviewed code. Normal Tuesday things. But the printed documents sat in my bag like a bomb. At lunch, I walked to a print shop 3 blocks away and made 2 more copies. One went in my car. One went in my apartment mailbox. The original stayed with me. Patricia's office was on the executive floor. I'd only been up there twice. Once for new hire orientation. Once for my promotion announcement. The walls had real art. The carpet was thick enough to muffle footsteps. Her assistant waved me in at exactly 2 p.m. Patricia Wu was 62 with silver hair and reading glasses on a chain. She gestured to the chair across from her desk. What's this about? I placed the folder in front of her. I received these anonymously this morning. I think the company has a serious problem. She opened the folder. Her expression didn't change as she flipped through pages. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Finally, she looked up. Where did you get these? Email. From an account I don't recognize. It's already deleted. Do you know who sent them? No. The lie came easily. Veronica's involvement didn't matter right now. What mattered was stopping this before more money disappeared. Patricia closed the folder. These are serious allegations. I'll need to verify everything independently. I have questions, I said. I imagine you do. Should I be worried? The documents show my automated system caught discrepancies. If someone wants to bury this, I'm a loose end. Patricia studied me over her glasses. Are you asking if Bryant Richmond might have you killed over embezzlement? I'm asking if I should be looking for another job. She smiled without humor. Bryant's clever, but he's not violent. However, you're right to be cautious. Don't discuss this with anyone. Not your manager, not your colleagues. No one. I'll handle the investigation personally. I stood to leave. One more thing, Patricia said. Your predecessor in the senior analyst role. Do you know why that position was vacant? Diane said the previous person left for another opportunity. Veronica was supposed to get that promotion. It was promised to her 3 years ago, but she kept finding reasons to delay, kept staying late to finish projects that should have taken hours. Almost like she was stalling. I sat back down. You think she knew then? I think Veronica's been protecting this company for a very long time, and I think it cost her everything. After leaving Patricia's office, I went back to my desk and worked until 5 p.m. Exactly 5 p.m. Then I drove home, checking my mirrors the entire way. My apartment had never felt less safe. I lived alone on the 3rd floor of a converted warehouse. Exposed brick, tall windows, open floor plan. Nowhere to hide. Every shadow looked suspicious. I ordered takeout and ate standing at my kitchen counter. Documents spread across the island. Following the money was like untangling Christmas lights. Each thread led to another shell company, another fake vendor, another inflated invoice. But the pattern was clear. Bryant needed cash for something big enough to risk federal prison. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Don't answer, I told myself. I answered. This is Patricia Wu. I'm calling from my personal cell. Do not reply to anything work-related. Just listen. My preliminary review confirms your documents are legitimate. I've contacted the FBI. There's an agent named Chen who specializes in corporate fraud. She'll reach out to you tomorrow. When she does, you need to tell her everything. Okay. One more thing. Bryant called an emergency executive meeting for Thursday morning. He doesn't know about the investigation yet, but he knows something's wrong. Watch your back. She hung up. I didn't sleep that night. Every noise in the building sounded like footsteps. Every car in the parking lot looked like surveillance. At 3 a.m., I moved my car to a different spot. At 4 a.m., I packed a bag with clothes and essentials. At 5 a.m., I gave up on sleep and went for a run. The city was empty at that hour. Just delivery trucks and the occasional taxi. I ran 8 miles, pushing hard, trying to outrun the anxiety. It didn't work. By the time I got back to my apartment, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock the door. I showered, dressed, and headed to work early. If they were watching, I wanted to seem normal, routine, unsuspecting. The office was nearly empty at 7:30 a.m. Diane's office was dark. Bryant's office was dark. My floor had maybe 6 people scattered across cubicles. Veronica's old desk was empty. They'd already hired her replacement, some kid fresh out of grad school who kept asking me questions about the automated systems. I'd been training him all week. Nice enough guy. Had no idea he'd walked into a crime scene. At 8:45 a.m., Diane arrived. She looked terrible. Hair pulled back, no makeup, coffee in each hand. She saw me and stopped. You're here early. Wanted to get a head start on the quarterly projections. She nodded slowly. Good. Listen, Bryant's called a management meeting for Thursday. All hands. Clear your calendar. Sure. Everything okay? Fine. Everything's fine. She disappeared into her office and closed the door. At 9:30 a.m., my phone buzzed. Another unknown number. This is Special Agent Rachel Torres, FBI. I understand Patricia Wu briefed you about the investigation. I need you to come to our field office this afternoon. I'm supposed to be at work. Take a long lunch. Tell your manager you have a dental emergency. Park in the garage on 5th Street and take the elevator to the 9th floor. Ask for me at reception. Okay. And bring any additional documentation you have. Anything connecting to what you've already provided. There isn't anything else. I just got the one email. Check again. People who send evidence anonymously usually leave breadcrumbs. If Veronica Hutchins wanted you to stop this, she probably gave you everything you need. She knew. Of course, the FBI knew who sent the files. They'd probably trace the email before I even walked into Patricia's office. I wondered what else they knew. Whether Veronica was in witness protection or hiding out in some cheap motel. Whether she was brave or terrified or both. At 11:45 a.m., I told Diane I needed to leave for an emergency dental appointment. She barely looked up from her computer. The drive to the FBI field office took 20 minutes. The garage on 5th Street was underground, fluorescent lit, mostly empty. I parked on level 3 and took the elevator up, clutching my bag with the documents. The 9th floor looked like every government office in every movie. Beige walls, industrial carpet, lots of doors with frosted glass windows. Reception had bulletproof glass and a bored-looking woman who checked my ID twice before buzzing me through. Special Agent Torres was younger than I expected, maybe 35, wearing a navy blazer and jeans. She led me to a conference room with a long table and a one-way mirror. A recording device sat in the center. "Relax," she said, seeing my face. "You're not in trouble. We just need everything documented properly." I placed the folder on the table. She opened it and nodded. "Patricia Wu already sent us copies, but we need to establish chain of custody. Tell me exactly how you received these files." I walked her through everything. The email at 3 a.m., the spam folder, the files, Veronica's last line, deleting everything. Agent Torres took notes, occasionally stopping me to ask clarifying questions. "And you haven't told anyone else about this? Besides Patricia Wu?" "No one." "Good. Keep it that way. Bryant Richmond doesn't know we're investigating yet. If he finds out, he'll start destroying evidence." She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo. "Do you recognize this man?" I did. Eugene Foster, the company's CFO. Balding, mid-50s, always wore expensive suits. "That's our chief financial officer. He's Bryant's college roommate. They've been running this scheme together for 4 years. We've been building a case for 6 months, but we couldn't prove the connection between the fake vendors and their personal accounts. Your automated system did in 3 hours what our forensic accountants couldn't do in half a year. So what happens now? Now you go back to work and act normal." Thursday's meeting is when Bryant plans to announce a corporate restructuring. He's going to blame budget shortfalls on market conditions. Use it as cover to cut staff and departments, including eliminating positions that might audit too closely. My position, probably. Don't worry. We'll have warrants executed before he can fire anyone. In the meantime, I need you to keep your eyes open. If you see Bryant or Eugene Foster or Diane accessing financial systems, acting strange, having private meetings, I need to know immediately. You think Diane's involved? We know she is. The question is whether she's complicit or coerced. Her signatures are on every fraudulent approval, but there's evidence Bryant was blackmailing her. We found emails suggesting he had information about her son. I didn't know Diane had a son. Most people don't. He's 24. Got arrested for drug possession 5 years ago. Bryant made it go away. Since then, Diane's been signing whatever he puts in front of her. I thought about Diane's tired face that morning, the coffee in both hands, the way she'd said, "Everything's fine," like she was trying to convince herself. Agent Torres stood. "My card has my direct line. Call anytime, day or night. If you feel unsafe, call. If you notice anything suspicious, call. If Bryant Richmond looks at you wrong, call. Understand?" I took the card. "What about Veronica? Is she safe?" "Veronica Hutchins is cooperating with our investigation." That's all I can say. I drove back to the office in a daze. My dental emergency had taken 2 hours. The office was busy when I returned. People rushing between cubicles, meetings in every conference room. The kid who'd replaced Veronica stopped me. "Hey, Diane's looking for you." She seemed stressed. Diane's office door was closed. I knocked. "Come in." She was standing at her window looking down at the street. "How was the dentist?" "Fine, root canal." She turned. Her eyes were red. "I need to talk to you about Thursday's meeting." "Okay." "Bryant's making changes. Big changes. I don't have all the details yet, but I wanted to give you a heads up. Your position is safe. In fact, you're being promoted again. Again? Director of Analytics. Big raise. Corner office. You'd be reporting directly to Bryant. It was a trap. Keep me close. Keep me quiet. Make me complicit. That's incredible. Thank you. There's a catch." Diane sat down heavily. "The role requires signing off on all financial reports. You'd be responsible for verifying budget accuracy across all departments. It's a lot of responsibility. I can handle it." She looked at me like she wanted to say something else, like she wanted to warn me. Instead, she just nodded. "Meetings at 10 a.m. Thursday, conference room A. Don't be late." That night, I called Agent Torres. "They're trying to promote me, Director of Analytics. They want me signing financial reports." "Perfect. Accept the position. But don't sign anything until after Thursday. We're executing warrants at 9 a.m., right before the meeting. And if something goes wrong, nothing will go wrong. We've been planning this for months. Bryant and Eugene will be in handcuffs before they finish their morning coffee." Wednesday dragged. I trained the new analyst, ran reports, attended meetings, normal things. But I felt like I was moving through water. Everything took effort. Every conversation felt forced. I left at 5 p.m., drove home, and sat in my apartment staring at the walls. My phone buzzed. It was my dad. "Hey, kiddo. Haven't heard from you in a week. Everything okay?" "Yeah, just busy at work. Got promoted." "Again? What is that, twice in 2 months?" "Something like that." "Your mother's worried you're working too hard, burning out like that friend of yours." "What was her name? Victoria?" "Veronica. And she wasn't my friend." "Right. Well, take care of yourself. Come visit this weekend if you can." "Maybe." After we hung up, I looked up Veronica on social media. Her accounts were gone. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. All deleted or deactivated. The woman who'd worked 60-hour weeks and documented every moment of her life had erased herself completely. I wondered if the FBI had made her do it or if she'd done it herself, if she was relieved or terrified or both. At midnight, I got a text from an unknown number. Just 4 words. "Don't go tomorrow." I called Agent Torres immediately. "Someone just warned me not to go to the meeting." "What's the number?" I read it off. She was silent for a moment. "That's Veronica's burner phone. She's not supposed to be contacting you. Should I listen to her?" "No. We need you there." Veronica's being paranoid. She thinks Bryant's planning something bigger than a corporate restructuring. But we've had surveillance on him for weeks. He's just planning to announce layoffs and blame the economy. But what if she's right? She's not. Get some sleep. Tomorrow this will all be over. I didn't sleep. I sat on my couch, watching headlights pass across my ceiling. At 5 a.m., I went for another run. 8 miles again, pushing harder. At 7 a.m., I showered and dressed in my best suit. If I was going to watch my CEO get arrested, I wanted to look professional. The office was crowded when I arrived at 8:30. Everyone had gotten the memo about the all-hands meeting. People clustered in break rooms, speculating about what Bryant would announce. Layoffs probably, budget cuts, maybe a merger. No one suspected embezzlement. At 8:55, I went to conference room A. It was the largest meeting space we had, with a wall of windows overlooking downtown. 50 chairs arranged in rows, a podium at the front, a projector screen. Diane was already there, standing in the corner. She looked worse than yesterday. Makeup couldn't hide the dark circles. Her hands shook as she adjusted her blazer. Big day, I said. She just nodded. People filed in. Department heads, senior managers, key analysts. Everyone Bryant would need to sell his restructuring plan. Eugene Foster arrived at 9:05, looking relaxed. He shook hands, made small talk, laughed at someone's joke. No sign of guilt or fear. At 9:10, Bryant Richmond walked in. He wore his best suit, the charcoal one he saved for board meetings. His hair was perfect. His smile was confident. He moved to the podium and adjusted the microphone. Thanks for coming on short notice. I know you're all wondering what this is about. The truth is, we're facing some challenges. Market conditions have been tough. Revenue's down across several key divisions. And that means we need to make some difficult decisions about our organizational structure. The room tensed. This was the moment. Bryant was about to announce layoffs, and the FBI was about to burst through the door. Except they didn't. 9:15 came and went. Bryant kept talking, clicking through slides showing fabricated revenue losses and budget shortfalls. Eugene nodded along, adding comments about fiscal responsibility and necessary sacrifices. 9:20. Still nothing. I checked my phone under the table. No messages, no missed calls. I texted Agent Torres. Where are you? Bryant wrapped up his presentation. So, effective immediately, we're eliminating 15 positions across all departments. HR will schedule individual meetings this afternoon. I know this is hard, but it's necessary for the company's survival. People started whispering. 15 positions. That was 10% of the staff. Diane's face had gone completely white. Bryant smiled. But it's not all bad news. We're also creating some new leadership roles. Our Director of Analytics position is being elevated to VP of Financial Operations. And I'm pleased to announce that promotion goes to, he paused for effect, our newest senior analyst, who's shown incredible initiative and efficiency. Everyone looked at me. Congratulations, Bryant said. This role comes with a significant raise and a seat at the executive table. Of course, it also comes with increased responsibility. You'll be overseeing all financial reporting, ensuring accuracy and compliance across the organization. I stood on shaking legs. Thank you. I'm honored. The paperwork's in my office. Stop by after this meeting and we'll make it official. The meeting ended at 9:35. Still no FBI. People filed out, some congratulating me, others looking shell-shocked about the layoffs. Diane disappeared immediately. Eugene Foster clapped me on the shoulder. Looking forward to working with you. I walked to Bryant's office. Every step felt wrong. Agent Torres had said 9 a.m. It was now 9:40. Something had happened. Something bad. Bryant's assistant waved me through. His office was massive, with a desk the size of my car and a wall of windows overlooking the city. He sat behind the desk, looking pleased with himself. A folder sat in front of him. Close the door. I closed it. Sit. I sat. Bryant opened the folder. Inside were documents. My documents. The ones I'd given to Patricia Wu. Let's talk about what you found. My mouth went dry. I'll be honest, I was impressed. Most people would have just deleted that email. But you did the right thing. You went to general counsel. You tried to protect the company. He leaned back. Problem is, Patricia Wu has been with this company for 23 years. She's loyal to me. Has been since I hired her. She's the one who called the FBI. She's the one who told me you'd called the FBI. Big difference. Bryant stood and walked to his window. Did you know Patricia's daughter works here? Nice girl. Marketing department. Just bought her first house. Would be a shame if something happened to her career. You're threatening her. I'm explaining reality. Patricia understands how things work. She made a call to the FBI yesterday afternoon, told them there was a misunderstanding, that you'd found some old files from a previous accounting system that flagged false positives, that everything's been resolved internally. They won't believe that. They already have. Without Patricia's cooperation, the FBI has no case. Just some suspicious documents from an anonymous email. Nothing admissible in court. Nothing they can use to get a warrant. I tried to stand. My legs wouldn't work. Bryant returned to his desk. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to accept this promotion. You're going to sign off on every report I put in front of you. And you're going to keep your mouth shut. Do that. And you'll have a very successful career here. Great salary, stock options, corner office. Everything Veronica could have had if she'd been smarter. And if I refuse, then you'll join Veronica on the unemployment line. Except you won't get the luxury of resigning quietly. I'll make sure everyone knows you fabricated evidence against the CEO, that you tried to destroy this company because you didn't get promoted fast enough. Your career in analytics will be over. You'll be lucky to get hired at a McDonald's. He pushed the folder toward me. Inside were employment contracts, VP of Financial Operations, $250,000 salary, stock options, benefits, everything I should want. Everything that would make me complicit in fraud. I need time to think about this. You have until 5 p.m. Sign the contracts and join the team, or pack your desk and leave forever. He smiled. I know what you'll choose. You're smart. That's why I promoted you. I left his office in a daze. The hallway seemed longer than before. The elevator took forever. Back at my desk, I sat staring at my computer screen. The automated scripts I'd written were still running, still flagging anomalies, still finding problems that no one would fix. My phone buzzed. Agent Torres. I'm so sorry, we got shut down this morning. Orders from above. Someone made a call. By the time we got to the field office, the case was closed. Bryant got to Patricia Wu. We suspected as much. Without her testimony and cooperation, we can't prove chain of custody on the documents. They could be fabricated, altered, anything. The U.S. attorney won't move forward without more evidence. What about Veronica? She's your witness. Veronica can testify to what she saw, but she can't testify to what Bryant did with the money. We need bank records, wire transfers, vendor contracts. Things only the company's legal counsel can subpoena. Things Patricia Wu could have gotten us. I leaned back in my chair. So Bryant wins. For now, keep the documents safe. Someday we might get another chance. I hung up and looked around the office. People working at desks, attending meetings, living their normal lives. None of them knew they worked for criminals. None of them knew Diane was being blackmailed. None of them knew Veronica had sacrificed everything to expose the truth. At 4:45 p.m., I walked back to Bryant's office. His assistant looked up. He's expecting you. Bryant was on the phone when I entered. He gestured for me to sit. Perfect. Yeah, she'll be great. Talk tomorrow. He hung up and smiled. So? I placed the unsigned contracts on his desk. I quit. His smile faded. Excuse me? I'm not signing. I'm not covering for you. I'm walking out of here today and never coming back. You realize what you're throwing away? I realize I'd rather be unemployed than be you. Bryant's expression hardened. You're making a mistake. A big one. Maybe. But it's my mistake to make. I stood and walked out before he could respond. Back at my desk, I packed my personal items. Coffee mug, framed photo, a plant someone had given me. The kid who'd replaced Veronica watched nervously. Are you okay? Yeah, I just don't work here anymore. Did you get fired? No, I quit. But you just got promoted. Some promotions aren't worth taking. I carried my box to the elevator. In the lobby, I ran into Diane. She looked at my box, then at my face. You didn't sign. No. Bryant's going to destroy you. Probably. She grabbed my arm. Listen to me. I know what he's doing. I know everything, but I can't stop him. He has too much leverage. If I go against him, my son... She stopped, looking around nervously. I know about your son. The FBI told me. Her eyes widened. The FBI came to you? Yesterday. But Bryant got to Patricia before they could execute the warrants. Diane's grip tightened. Patricia sold us out? Her daughter works here. Bryant threatened her career. Of course he did. Diane released my arm and slumped against the wall. This is never going to end. He's always 3 steps ahead. Always has insurance. Always wins. He won't win forever. How can you be so sure? Because Veronica didn't give up. She spent 8 years gathering evidence. She knew she'd lose everything, but she did it anyway. That has to mean something. Diane was quiet for a long moment. Then she pulled out her phone and typed something. My phone buzzed. She'd texted me an address. That's a storage unit in Newark. Code is 2847. Inside, you'll find everything Veronica couldn't fit in one email. Years of documentation, backups of deleted files, physical evidence that links Bryant directly to the fraud. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm tired. I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of covering for him. I'm tired of watching good people like you and Veronica get destroyed because they tried to do the right thing. She pushed away from the wall. I can't help you directly, but I can give you what you need to finish this. He'll know you gave it to me. I don't care anymore. Let him threaten me. Let him come after my son. Some things are worth fighting for. I left the building carrying my box, and the knowledge that this wasn't over. Not even close. The storage unit was 40 minutes away in an industrial park off Route 21. The gate required a code, same as Diane had said. Unit 284 was in the back corner, a standard 10x10 with a rolling door and padlock. Inside were filing cabinets, 4 of them, packed with documents, bank statements, wire transfer records, vendor contracts, emails, handwritten notes. Everything organized by year, with labeled folders and color-coded tabs. Veronica's handwriting was everywhere, annotations in the margins, dates circled, connections drawn between entries. This was her life's work. 8 years of staying late, working 60-hour weeks, sacrificing relationships and health and happiness. Not because she was obsessed with work, but because she was building a case against the man who'd turned her workplace into a crime scene. I pulled out my phone and called Agent Torres. I have more evidence. A lot more. How much more? 4 filing cabinets full. Bank records, contracts, wire transfers, everything you need to prove Bryant and Eugene have been embezzling funds for 4 years. Where did you get this? Does it matter? She was quiet. Not really. Text me the address. I'll send a team right now. And Patricia Wu? We'll work around her. With this much evidence, we don't need her testimony. We can go straight to the U.S. attorney. I texted the address and sat on the floor of the storage unit, surrounded by years of Veronica's work. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. It's me. Veronica's voice was hoarse, tired. Diane told me you quit. Yeah, that was stupid. You could have taken the money, kept your head down, had a nice, comfortable life. So could you. She laughed, bitter. I tried. For 8 years, I tried. Every time I got close to walking away, I'd find another discrepancy, another fake vendor, another stolen dollar. It became an obsession. I stopped sleeping, stopped seeing friends, stopped living, all because I couldn't let Bryant Richmond get away with it. Did you ever regret it? Every single day. But I'd do it again. Some things you can't ignore, even when ignoring them would be easier. The FBI's coming for the files. They'll reopen the case. I know. I've been waiting for this moment for 3 years. Ever since I realized the extent of what Bryant was doing. I wanted to expose him myself, be the hero, get the credit. but I wasn't brave enough. I just kept collecting evidence and hoping someone else would finish it. You sent me those files knowing I'd take them to the FBI. You were efficient, competent, not buried in the culture of fear Bryant had created. I thought maybe you'd be brave enough to do what I couldn't. You could have just gone to the FBI yourself. I tried. Twice. Both times, Patricia Wu shut it down before the investigation could start. Bryant's had her under his thumb for years, but you were new, clean, untainted. The FBI might actually listen to you. I heard sirens in the distance, getting closer. They're coming now. Good. Make sure they get everything. Don't let Bryant talk his way out of this. Don't let him threaten or bribe or manipulate. He's good at that, making people feel like they have no choice but to go along with him. I won't. And one more thing. When this is over, when Bryant's in prison and the company's been cleaned up, think about whether you really want to go back. Whether working for a place that let this happen for 4 years is worth your time. What are you going to do? Disappear. The FBI doesn't need me anymore. And I've spent enough of my life on Bryant Richmond. She paused. For what it's worth, you were a better analyst than I ever was. Your automated systems in 3 hours did what took me weeks. If I'd been smarter, less stubborn, maybe I could have had a life outside that office. You still can. Maybe. Thanks for finishing this. I really thought I'd be alone in it forever. She hung up. 3 FBI vans pulled into the storage facility parking lot. Agent Torres got out first, followed by a team with cameras, evidence bags, and official-looking clipboards. She saw me sitting on the floor and shook her head. You look terrible. I quit my job today. Best decision you ever made. She surveyed the filing cabinets. This is incredible. Veronica Hutchins really documented everything. She spent 8 years collecting it. 8 years is a long time to carry that burden. They spent 6 hours photographing, cataloging, and removing documents. I sat outside on the curb watching the sun set over the industrial park. At some point, someone brought me coffee. At another point, Agent Torres sat next to me. We're executing warrants tomorrow morning. Bryant Richmond, Eugene Foster, and Patricia Wu. They'll all be in custody by noon. What about Diane? We'll talk to her. Based on what you've told me about her son, she might qualify for immunity if she cooperates. The U.S. attorney likes witnesses who can testify to coercion and blackmail. And me? You'll need to testify eventually. Give a deposition. Maybe appear at trial. But you're not in trouble. You did everything right. Doesn't feel like it. I'm unemployed. Bryant's probably telling everyone in the industry that I'm unstable, dishonest, a liar. My career in analytics might be over. Your career in analytics at corrupt companies might be over. But there are plenty of places that would kill to hire someone with your skills and integrity, someone who automates processes, improves efficiency, and doesn't look the other way when they find evidence of crimes. You hiring? She smiled. FBI always needs good analysts. Think about it. They finished around midnight. Agent Torres drove me home. My apartment looked exactly as I'd left it that morning, but everything felt different. I was unemployed, probably unemployable in my field, and facing months of legal proceedings. But I'd done the right thing. Or at least I'd tried. I slept for 12 hours. When I woke up, my phone had 43 messages, texts from coworkers asking what happened, emails from recruiters who'd somehow heard I was available, 3 voicemails from my parents asking why I'd quit such a good job, and 1 message from an unknown number. This is Diane. I've been placed on administrative leave pending investigation. They've seized my computer, my files, my phone records, everything. Bryant tried to throw me under the bus, but I told the FBI everything. About the blackmail, his threats against my son, the way he forced me to sign off on fraudulent expenses. I don't know what happens next, but I wanted to say thank you. For not backing down, for not taking his deal, for giving me the courage to finally tell the truth. I saved the message. Over the next 2 weeks, everything came apart. Bryant Richmond was arrested at his home at 6 a.m. on federal embezzlement charges. Eugene Foster was arrested in his car outside a Starbucks. Patricia Wu was arrested in her office in front of her entire staff. The story hit the news that afternoon. Local stations, then national ones. Tech company CEO accused of $12 million fraud. The company itself went into chaos. The board fired the entire executive team. They brought in interim leadership from outside. They hired forensic accountants to trace every dollar Bryant and Eugene had stolen. The total ended up being $18.4 million over 4 years. Money that should have gone to employee salaries, product development, office improvements. Money that had instead bought Bryant a vacation home in Aspen and Eugene a boat he named Creative Accounting. Employees were furious. Some quit immediately. Others stayed, hoping the new leadership would fix things. The kid who'd replaced Veronica took over my old role as senior analyst. He automated even more processes, found even more discrepancies, helped the FBI build an airtight case. Diane Cooper agreed to testify in exchange for immunity. Her son's drug arrest had been expunged through legitimate legal channels, not through Bryant's connections. She'd been signing those documents under false pretenses, believing her son's future depended on her compliance. The U.S. attorney accepted her testimony. Patricia Wu fought the charges, claimed she didn't know about the fraud, that she'd only delayed the FBI investigation because she thought the evidence was insufficient. But emails recovered from her computer told a different story. She'd known about Bryant's scheme since 2021. She'd actively helped him cover it up, using her position as general counsel to block internal audits and external investigations. The trial started 8 months later. I testified on day 3, walked through my hiring, my relationship with Veronica, the expense report that started everything, the anonymous email, my decision to take the evidence to Patricia Wu. The defense attorney tried to paint me as a disgruntled employee who'd fabricated evidence out of jealousy, but the documents spoke for themselves. Thousands of pages of wire transfers, fake vendor invoices, altered spreadsheets, Veronica didn't testify. She'd moved to Montana and started working at a small accounting firm that specialized in nonprofit audits. She sent me a postcard once. Found work that actually helps people. Should have quit years ago. Hope you're doing okay. I was doing okay. After the trial, I got offers from 6 different companies. I took a position at a healthcare analytics firm that needed someone to overhaul their reporting systems. The work was challenging, the people were honest, and my boss left every day at 5:30 p.m. On my first day, she said, "We value efficiency here. If you're working late, you're doing something wrong." Bryant Richmond was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Eugene Foster got 12, Patricia Wu got 7. The company survived, but never fully recovered. They eventually sold to a larger corporation that gutted the analytics department and moved operations overseas. I stayed in touch with Diane. She got a job at a nonprofit doing financial compliance. Said it was the first time in years she'd been able to sleep through the night. Her son graduated from community college and started working as an EMT. She was proud of him, proud of herself for finally standing up to Bryant. 2 years after everything happened, I got another email from Veronica. This time it wasn't anonymous. She used her real name, included her new work email, even attached a photo of her standing in front of a mountain. I saw Bryant's appeal was denied. He's going to serve his full sentence. I thought about going to see him in prison, maybe gloat a little, but it felt petty. He made his choices. He knew what he was doing. He just thought he was smarter than everyone else. That's always the fatal flaw with people like him. They think they're the only ones paying attention. Anyway, I wanted to tell you something I never got to say when we worked together. You were right about me. I did make that job my entire life. I stayed late because I didn't have anywhere else to go. Didn't have friends or hobbies or relationships, just work and more work, and the obsessive need to catch Bryant in the act. It wasn't healthy, it wasn't sustainable, and it cost me almost a decade of my life. But it also taught me something. Sometimes the right thing to do is hard. Sometimes it costs everything, and sometimes the only person who can do it is you. Not because you're special or brave or uniquely qualified. Just because you're the one who's there, who notices, who cares enough to act. You were that person for me. I sent you those files hoping you'd have the courage I didn't. And you did. You walked into that FBI office, quit that job, lost everything you'd worked for, all because it was the right thing to do. That's rare. Hold on to that. I'm doing better now. I hike on weekends. I have friends. I even went on a date last month. It's strange having a life outside work. Still getting used to it, but it's good. Really good. Take care of yourself. And if you're ever in Montana, look me up. I'll buy you coffee and we can laugh about how we both used to think 60-hour work weeks were normal. Veronica. I replied that same day. Coffee sounds good. I'm owed some vacation time. Maybe this summer? She responded within an hour. It's a date. Fair warning though, Montana coffee isn't as good as the stuff in the city, but the views make up for it. I booked the trip 3 months later, flew into Bozeman, rented a car, and drove to the small town where Veronica lived. She met me at a coffee shop that overlooked a river. She looked different, relaxed. Her hair was longer, she wore hiking boots, and she smiled when she saw me. We talked for 4 hours, about the trial, about our new jobs, about what it felt like to rebuild our lives after everything fell apart. She told me about her hiking group, a book club she'd joined, a pottery class she was taking on Thursdays. I told her about my new company, my coworkers who actually went home at reasonable hours, my boss who encouraged work-life balance. Do you ever regret it? I asked, walking away from that career? You were talented. You could have been a CFO somewhere if you just kept your head down. She shook her head. I spent 8 years with my head down. 8 years pretending everything was fine while Bryant stole millions. If I'd kept going, I'd be dead by now. Heart attack, stroke, or just plain misery. This life, this boring, normal life with pottery classes and book clubs, is the best thing that ever happened to me, even though it cost you everything. Especially because it cost me everything. Turns out what I had wasn't worth keeping. We hiked that afternoon, 6 miles through mountain trails, talking about everything and nothing. She pointed out wildflowers, warned me about bears, laughed when I complained about the altitude. At the summit, we sat on a rock overlooking a valley. I need to tell you something, Veronica said. I knew what would happen when I sent you those files. I knew Bryant would come after you. I knew you'd probably lose your job. And I sent them anyway. I know. You're not angry? I was at first. For about a week after I quit, I was furious. At you, at Bryant, at the whole situation. But then I realized you'd given me a choice. You didn't force me to take those files to the FBI. You didn't make me quit. You just showed me the truth and let me decide what to do with it. She was quiet for a long time. I spent 8 years being angry. At Bryant, at Eugene, at Patricia, at everyone who let it happen. The anger kept me going, kept me digging for evidence, kept me working those late nights, but it also ate me alive from the inside. I don't want to be angry anymore. So what do you want? Peace. Boring, ordinary peace. We watched the sun set over the mountains. The sky turned orange, then pink, then deep purple. Somewhere in the distance, an elk called out. The valley filled with shadows. Veronica pulled out her phone and took a photo. For my hiking group, she explained. They'll want to see where I took my famous guest. Famous? The woman who took down Bryant Richmond? You're kind of a legend in certain circles. Forensic accounting forums, corporate ethics seminars, FBI training sessions. They use your case as an example of proper whistleblower procedures. That's horrifying. That's justice. She stood and stretched. Come on, we should head back before it gets dark. I'll make us dinner. Nothing fancy, just pasta. But I promise it's better than anything you ate during those 60-hour work weeks. She was right. The pasta was good. The conversation was better. We stayed up until midnight, drinking wine on her porch, watching stars appear over the mountains. She told me stories about her new life, her co-workers at the nonprofit, the small-town drama that seemed absurd after corporate fraud and federal investigations. Do you ever miss it? I asked. The big city, the important job, the feeling of doing something that matters. Every day. But then I remember what it cost. The relationships I didn't have, the hobbies I didn't pursue, the life I didn't live, and I realize this is better. This small, quiet life where the biggest scandal is Mrs. Henderson accusing Mr. Patterson of stealing her prized tomatoes. I flew home the next morning, back to my own small, quiet life. My job that ended at 5:30, my coworkers who had hobbies, my boss who encouraged vacation time. It wasn't prestigious or glamorous, but it was honest. And after everything, honest felt like enough. 3 years passed. Bryant served his time without incident. Model prisoner, apparently. Eugene got out early for good behavior and moved to Florida. Patricia lost her law license and ended up working as a paralegal for a personal injury firm. Diane stayed at the nonprofit, eventually becoming their CFO. Her son became a paramedic supervisor. The company we'd all worked for went through 3 more CEOs before finally stabilizing. They implemented new oversight procedures, independent audits, whistleblower protections. Too late for Veronica and me, but maybe it would help someone else. I got promoted twice. Not to vice president or director or any title that came with corner offices and stock options, just senior healthcare analytics manager. It was enough. My phone rang one afternoon. Unknown number. For a second, my heart jumped, remembering all those calls during the investigation. But this was different. This was closure. This is Special Agent Rachel Torres. I wanted to let you know the last of the appeals was denied today. Bryant Richmond's conviction is final. He'll serve his full sentence, all 15 years. No parole, no time off. It's over. Thank you for calling. No, thank you. Cases like this only work when people like you are willing to come forward. Most people aren't. Most people take the promotion, sign the papers, keep their heads down. You didn't. That matters. After she hung up, I sat at my desk for a long time. The office buzzed around me. People working, laughing, complaining about normal things like traffic and deadlines and whose turn it was to clean the break room. Normal office life. Nothing dramatic. Nothing corrupt. I thought about Veronica in Montana, hiking on weekends and taking pottery classes. I thought about Diane at her nonprofit, sleeping through the night for the first time in years. I thought about that kid who'd replaced Veronica, now running the analytics department at some other company. All of us scattered, rebuilding, moving forward. My phone buzzed. Text from Veronica. Torres called me too. It's really over. Hard to believe after all this time. What are you going to do to celebrate? I texted back. Probably nothing. Maybe make a nice dinner. Go for a hike. Normal things. Normal sounds good. Yeah, it really does. I finished my work at 5:30, shut down my computer, grabbed my bag, and headed for the door. My coworker called out, "Leaving already?" "Yeah, got things to do." "Must be nice." I smiled. It really is. The evening was warm. I drove home with the windows down, radio playing something I didn't recognize. My apartment was quiet when I arrived. No crisis. No emergencies, just dinner to make and a book to read and the comfortable, ordinary life I'd built after everything fell apart. I thought about sending Veronica another message, maybe suggesting another visit to Montana, maybe inviting her here instead, but I didn't. Some relationships exist perfectly in the space between major life events, bookends to chapters that needed closing. Instead, I made dinner, pasta like Veronica had made for me. Nothing fancy. I ate on my couch, watching a documentary about something unrelated to corporate fraud. My phone stayed silent. The evening stretched out, peaceful and unremarkable. Around 10 p.m., I got one more text. Unknown number, but I knew who it was. Remember when you asked if I regretted it? Walking away from that career? Yeah, I lied. I don't regret it every day. Most days I'm grateful. Grateful I got out. Grateful you finished what I started. Grateful Bryant's in prison and we're not. But some days I do wonder what life would have been like if I'd just taken that promotion 8 years ago. If I'd looked the other way. If I'd been a little less stubborn and a little more practical. And then I remember I wouldn't be me if I'd done that. I'd be someone else. Someone who could live with corruption and fraud and stolen money. Someone who valued career over conscience. And I don't want to be that person, even if that person would have had an easier life. Me neither. Good. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's Friday. You're probably one of those people who actually leaves at 5 WIG on Fridays. On the dot. Good. Stay that way. The text stopped. I put my phone down and looked around my apartment. Small kitchen, decent living room, bedroom with windows facing east. Nothing impressive. Nothing that screamed success or achievement or corner office ambitions. Just a normal place for a normal life. But it was mine. Earned honestly. Built on foundations that wouldn't collapse under federal investigation. And after everything, that felt like the biggest success of all. I went to bed at a reasonable hour, slept soundly, woke up the next morning without anxiety or fear or the weight of secrets I couldn't share, made coffee, got ready for work, normal Friday things. At the office, my boss stopped by my desk. "Good work this week. You finished that hospital data analysis 3 days early. Just efficient." She smiled. "That's why we hired you. Keep it up." I worked until 4:45. Could have stayed until 5 or Kier, but the sun was shining and I had plans to meet friends for dinner. Real friends. People I'd met outside of work. People who had no idea I'd once been involved in a federal fraud investigation. As I packed up my desk, I thought about that first day 6 months ago when I'd walked into that office. How I'd come in at 9:00 and left at 5, like a normal person with a normal job. How Veronica had hated me for it. How Bryant had tried to buy me. How Diane had been too scared to stop him. All of them trapped by their own choices, their own compromises, their own willingness to trade integrity for security. I'd almost joined them. Almost taken that promotion. Almost signed those papers. But something Veronica had said stuck with me, even before I knew who she really was. Maybe the job wouldn't have been everything if you'd actually gone home sometimes. She'd been talking about herself, about 8 years of sacrificing everything for a career that was built on lies. About finally understanding that work was just work, and life was what happened when you clocked out at 5 out and actually went home. I drove to dinner with the radio playing, met my friends at a restaurant that had nothing to do with expense reports or analytics or corporate fraud. We talked about movies and travel plans and someone's new relationship, normal conversations, nothing dramatic. Around 9:00, my phone buzzed. Email from a recruiter. Senior Director of Analytics position, Fortune 500 company, competitive salary and benefits package. I deleted it without responding. My friend noticed. Work email? Job offer. Not interested? I like where I am. She raised her glass. To liking where you are. Underrated life goal. We clinked glasses. I drank and thought about Veronica in Montana, probably on a hike right now. Phone turned off, completely disconnected from the corporate world that had consumed 8 years of her life. I thought about Diane at her nonprofit, going home at a reasonable hour to have dinner with her son. I thought about all the people who'd been caught in Bryant's web, now scattered across the country, rebuilding their lives on foundations that wouldn't crumble. The next morning, Saturday, I slept until 9 o'clock, made breakfast, went for a run, did laundry, read a book. All the boring, ordinary things that fill a boring, ordinary life. And somewhere between folding sheets and making lunch, I realized I was happy. Not triumphant, not vindicated, not celebrating some great victory. Just happy, content, satisfied with choices that had cost me a promotion and a career trajectory, and whatever success looked like in Bryant Richmond's world. My phone rang. I almost didn't answer, but I recognized the Montana area code. Hey, Veronica said. You busy? Just doing laundry. You? Same. Isn't adult life glamorous? We talked for an hour. About nothing important. About her pottery class and my running route and whether sourdough bread was worth the effort. Normal friend conversation. No fraud, no FBI, no prison sentences. Before we hung up, she said, I'm glad you quit that day. I know it was hard. I know you lost a lot, but I'm glad you did it. Me too. Good. Now go finish your laundry. I'll call you next week. She did. And the week after that, and the month after that. Not constantly, not obsessively, just occasionally. Two people who'd survived the same crisis, staying connected through the quiet aftermath. 5 years passed. Bryant served his time, got released, moved to a small town somewhere in the Midwest, reportedly working at a car dealership. Eugene started a blog about business ethics. Patricia Wu wrote a book about her experience, painting herself as another victim of Bryant's manipulation. The reviews were mixed. Diane retired from the nonprofit and moved to a cabin upstate with her son and his new wife. She sent me a Christmas card every year with a photo of the three of them, always smiling, always looking genuinely happy. I stayed at the healthcare analytics firm, got promoted to senior manager, then associate director, led a team of 6 analysts, taught them about automation and efficiency and the importance of leaving at 5 seconds. Some of them listened, some of them didn't. But it wasn't my job to save them, just to show them there was another way. Veronica stayed in Montana, made partner at her nonprofit firm, started a consulting business on the side, helping other organizations implement financial controls. She never worked past 6 o'clock, never checked email on weekends, never sacrificed her hiking schedule for client meetings. We met up once a year. Sometimes I flew to Montana, sometimes she flew to me. We'd spend a weekend hiking or exploring the city or just sitting around talking about our boring, ordinary lives. And every time as we said goodbye, one of us would mention how strange it was that we'd once been the people who'd taken down a CEO. Seems like a different lifetime, Veronica said during our last visit. It was, I agreed. Do you ever tell people about what happened? Sometimes, if it's relevant, but mostly I don't. It's not who I am anymore. Me neither. I'm just the woman who hikes on Saturdays and takes pottery classes on Thursdays. The Bryant Richmond thing is just something that happened once, not the defining moment of my life. What is? She thought about it. Probably the moment I decided to keep living after it was over. To build something new instead of dwelling on what I'd lost. That's the moment that actually mattered. I understood exactly what she meant. 10 years after everything happened, I got an email from the FBI. Agent Torres had retired. She was writing a book about her career and wanted to include our case as a chapter. Would I be willing to be interviewed? I said yes. We met at a coffee shop in the city, same one where Veronica and I sometimes met up. Agent Torres looked older, grayer, but still sharp. You know what I remember most about your case? She said. Not the money or the arrests or even the convictions. I remember how you walked out of that office with a cardboard box, knowing your career was probably over, but doing it anyway because it was the right thing to do. That's rare. It didn't feel rare. It felt inevitable. That's what makes it rare. Most people rationalize. They convince themselves it's not their problem or that someone else will handle it or that they need to look out for themselves first. You didn't do any of that. You just did what needed to be done. Veronica did all the hard work. I just finished it. Veronica collected evidence. You acted on it. Both were necessary. Both took courage. She pulled out a recording device. So, ready to tell the story one more time? I told her everything, the whole story, from Veronica's first passive-aggressive comment about my 5-tower departures to that final text from Montana about pottery classes and boring Saturdays. Agent Torres took notes, asked clarifying questions, made sure she had every detail right. When we finished, she turned off the recorder. One last question, off the record. If you could go back and do it differently, would you? I didn't have to think about it. No, not even for the career you could have had, the money, the success, especially not for those things. Success that requires compromising your integrity isn't success. It's just expensive misery. She smiled. That's going in the book. The book came out 2 years later. Corporate Crimes and the People Who Stopped Them. Our case was Chapter 7. Agent Torres changed our names but kept the essential story intact. The woman who spent 8 years collecting evidence. The new analyst who automated systems and uncovered the fraud. The CEO who thought he was untouchable. The general counsel who valued her daughter's career over the truth. I bought 3 copies, kept one for myself, sent one to Veronica, sent one to Diane. Veronica called when she received hers. Did you read the dedication? I hadn't. I flipped to the front. To all the analysts who leave at 5 ER and get the job done anyway. We laughed. That same tired, relieved laugh we'd shared in that storage unit all those years ago. The laugh of people who'd survived something that should have destroyed them. We should celebrate, Veronica said. Big reunion. You, me, Diane, maybe even that kid who replaced, what was his name? Timothy. Right, Timothy. We'll get together, drink wine, toast to boring lives and reasonable work hours. We did. 3 months later. Met at a restaurant halfway between Montana and the city. Diane drove up from her cabin. Timothy flew in from Seattle, where he now ran analytics for a hospital system. Agent Torres even showed up, bringing copies of her book for everyone to sign. We spent the evening telling stories. Laughing about Veronica's 60-hour weeks and my automated scripts and Bryant's shocked face when the FBI finally executed those warrants. We talked about where we were now, what we'd built from the ashes of that corporate disaster. Diane raised her glass. To doing the right thing, even when it costs everything. To doing the right thing, we echoed. And to leaving at 5 COE, Veronica added. On the dot, I finished. We clinked glasses. The wine was good. The company was better. And somewhere in federal prison, Bryant Richmond was probably thinking about the analyst who'd automated his systems, and the coworker who'd spent 8 years gathering evidence, and the moment when his carefully constructed empire had finally collapsed. But we weren't thinking about him. We were thinking about the lives we'd built, the choices we'd made, the boring, ordinary existence that felt extraordinary after everything we'd survived. The evening ended around 10 nigh. We said our goodbyes, promised to stay in touch, made vague plans to do this again next year. I drove home with the radio playing, thinking about how strange it was that one email at 3 a.m. had changed everything. Or maybe it hadn't changed anything. Maybe I'd always been the person who would walk away from a corrupt promotion. Maybe Veronica had always been the person who would spend 8 years collecting evidence. Maybe Diane had always been the person who would eventually find her courage. We just needed the right moment, the right push, the right circumstances to become who we actually were. I got home around midnight. My apartment was dark, quiet, exactly as I'd left it. No crises, no emergencies, no emails from whistleblowers or calls from FBI agents, just a normal apartment for a normal person living a normal life. I made tea and sat on my couch, looking out at the city lights. Somewhere out there were other Veronicas, other analysts, other people trapped in jobs that required them to compromise their values for a paycheck. Some of them would find the courage to walk away. Some of them wouldn't. And that was okay. Everyone's path was different. But for those who were considering it, who were standing at that same crossroads where I'd stood 12 years ago, I hoped they remembered one thing. Leaving at 5 isn't lazy. Working efficiently isn't cutting corners. And sometimes the best career move you can make is walking away from a promotion that requires you to become someone you don't want to be. My phone buzzed one last time. Text from Veronica. Thanks for tonight. Needed the reminder that it was all worth it. It was, I texted back. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's Monday. Normal work week ahead. On it. You too. Already in bed. Lights off. Alarm set for 6:30 so I can go for a run before work. 6:30? Yeah, but I'll be done by 5 on the dot. Good. I put my phone down and looked around my small, ordinary apartment one more time. Thought about everything that had led me here. The automated scripts, the expense reports, the email at 3 a.m., the storage unit full of evidence, the decision to quit instead of compromising. All of it leading to this moment. This quiet, unremarkable moment where I was exactly where I needed to be, living exactly the life I wanted to live. I finished my tea, brushed my teeth, got into bed at a reasonable hour, set my alarm for 7 a.m. because I'd learned from Veronica that starting early didn't mean you had to stay late. It just meant you valued your time enough to use it efficiently. The last thing I thought before falling asleep was how grateful I was for that first day 6 months into my job when I'd left at 5 on the dot, and Veronica had made her passive-aggressive comment about people who actually cared about their careers. Because if she hadn't said that, I might never have automated those expense reports. If I hadn't automated the reports, I might never have flagged those discrepancies. If I hadn't flagged the discrepancies, Veronica might never have sent me those files. And if she hadn't sent those files, Bryant Richmond might still be embezzling millions while everyone around him worked 60-hour weeks and convinced themselves it was normal. But she did say it. And I did automate the reports. And she did send the files. And eventually, inevitably, the whole corrupt system collapsed under the weight of its own dishonesty. Not because we were heroes, not because we were brave, just because we were two people who valued efficiency, honesty, and leaving at 5 more than we valued promotions built on lies. And in the end, that was enough.